Wisconsin Supreme Court is temporarily suspending a judge accused of helping an undocumented man avoid arrest. The judge was arrested last Friday on charges linked to obstructing a proceeding and concealing an individual prior to their arrest. Now, she was released after her initial court appearance. The criminal complaint states the judge escorted the man through a private door of the courthouse before he ran away. Immigration officials eventually caught the man, who faces domestic violence charges. The judge is contesting her charges and is due back in court next month. Joining us now, our chief legal analyst, Khalif Rose, to break this down. This judge, Hannah Dugan, temporarily prohibited, as we mentioned. Khalif, where does this all stand there? Because obviously the defendant was in there for a domestic violence case, and then things quickly got out of hand.
They got out of hand. Let me start with this. Anytime the intro is the judge has a next hearing and the judge is not presiding over the hearing, you got problems, and that's where we're at right now with this one. And so, first of all, these are only allegations, but the allegations are that a clerk tipped off the judge that ICE was in the building and they were attempting to arrest this individual. At some point, the judge approaches ICE, her and another judge, telling them, hey, you guys got to go talk to the chief district court judge or chief circuit court judge. This is not the proper venue to be arresting individuals in my courtroom. Extremely frustrated, extremely irate. Goes back into the courtroom, and then she says, wait, hold on for a second, talking to the defense attorney and the defendant, and then says, hey, you guys can go out this door right here, and kind of escorts them out the side door. A pursuit ensues. They arrest the guy, and they come back into the courtroom, and then they arrest her. Those are the allegations. The charges would be, interfering with an arrest, hiding and not disclosing the location of an individual.
Right.
And so that obstructing portion is a typical charge you would see from someone that's helping a family member evade arrest.
Right.
You're hiding them in your house. You're trying to drive them away from the scene, but not a judge in a courtroom. This is something that's out of a movie. Did not anticipate seeing this. Clearly not on anyone's bingo card when 2025 started, but this is where we're at now.
So the man involved, Eduardo Flores Ruiz, he was ordered to be removed in 2013. They found out that he was back in there because of this domestic violence case. And this is what happens with a lot of undocumented immigrants. They're back in the country. A case comes up, ICE gets notified and gets pinged. What type of jurisdiction does ICE have? Can they make an arrest in a courthouse? They can do that there. So if, again, these are claims. If these allegations are true, does a judge have any right to say, not in my courtroom?
I think a judge would have right to stop something like this occurring in her courtroom, like in the middle of a proceeding, right? Like, listen, you guys need to wait. Deference would be given to the court. You don't have authority to do this right now. But in the courthouse, I think they are clearly within their right. Even within the courtroom, when the proceeding is not happening, within their right. But if a proceeding is happening, a judge is talking to a defendant, I think any agent that attempts to go up there in the middle of the judge talking and arrest a person while they're having a proceeding, I think that would be outside the scope of their authority. Specifically, that deference that's supposed to be afforded to the court would be removed. And I agree with what the Wisconsin Supreme Court said, that when they removed her from office, we're talking about the integrity within the court system. We want people to have public trust that our judges are going to follow whatever the law is, regardless if you disagree with the law.
Right.
If the rules are that ICE has an ability to arrest, detain, and take this person, you can't stop them from doing that. You can't deter them. Yes, you can finish your hearing, and then they can do whatever they want. And so you don't want these type of situations happen, because it amplifies the already divided by the polarizing nature of where we are right now, not just in politics, but in every aspect of our life.
She could be facing criminal time if she's found guilty.
Not can be, she is. She's already facing criminal charges.
Yeah, she is facing, yeah.
Right. So now if convicted, could she go to jail in prison? Yes, she could. These are the type of charges you don't want, and I mentioned this before, 90+% win rate with the federal government when they bring a charge against you. And so they normally have the receipts. This would have been someone in the courtroom that would have seen this. The affidavit that they have says someone heard her say this. Right. And so it had to be a prosecutor or someone in there waiting on the case to say, hey, I heard her say this. I got some information for you. They would have done their investigation quick. Their FBI doesn't stand for Federal Bureau of Not Looking. That investigation portion is something that they're good at. And so you want to make sure that she crossed her T's and dotted her I's. And this is something that she did not do right if the allegations are accurate.
This is something that we think has been pretty common during the Trump administration on both sides, right? It's like, okay, whether or not you agree with what's happening, you have to follow the rule of law, right?
You can double down on that 100%. That is probably the most important part that I hope that we can learn out of this process is that regardless of if you agree or disagree, it's kind of like the First Amendment. I don't care what you say. I don't want to even have to agree with what you say, but I can agree that you have a right to say it. In these situations, there is a rule of law that has to be followed, and oftentimes when people start to try to take rule of law into their own hands, that's when society starts to degenerate, and you don't want that to happen. In these situations, you want a judge specifically to follow the law. The person with the robe on, you don't want them breaking the law.
So guys, if you're following at home, that means Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Independent, everybody has to follow the law the same.
All of us.
All right, Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes, we appreciate you, my friend.